Hello, folks. I wanted to come on and just talk about some stuff. As I said in my last video, I'm gonna start talking about the positive stuff as opposed to just the negative stuff, so people don't think I'm absolutely insane or like going off the deep end. Something I've been working on a lot lately that I feel like I'm taking steps ahead in is permitting myself to be okay and taking care of myself. It's been on my mind a lot lately. Like I get up and every morning I have the alarm set to get up early so I can do my meditation, I can do my prayer, I can do my journaling and stuff like that. And all I've been doing is like I sleep past that alarm to the very last second before like I absolutely have to get up in order to get on to the Zoom camera, like get to work. And I feel bad about it every day, or I felt bad about it every day. And I've just been coming closer and closer to that edge where it's just like, this is just ridiculous. I mean, I was talking about this the other day, like last week, and things got to change, right? Like things have to change. and and that's, I've been thinking a lot about that, and sort of this idea of being okay has kind of changed meaning in my so sort of I'm understanding it in a different way. I thought I was like, okay, yeah, I'm cool, I'm fine, I'm okay, I'm relaxing and releasing, and it's okay. But there's a level of resistance that I was unaware of. I mean, like I knew it was there, but it was so, it's been there for so long, that it just doesn't feel like that's not an, it didn't feel like it's an option. Like this is not optional. This is just how it feels. But I realized that in order for, like I was saying, like, okay, it's okay. I'm fine. I mean, I'm fine, but like what is happening in my life is okay. I accept it and I'm open to it. The universe is doing what it's doing, but I still, at the same time, sorry, I was still like, but I gotta get out of here. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. You know what I mean? Like panicking. Because I thought, like, I think that what's going on in my life right now is not okay. And I mean, to be fair, it's not ideal. It's not ideal, and it's not what I want. But want is the key there, right? Like, I'm judging. I'm doing a lot of judging of myself and my life. And it's not positive judging. it's negative judging. But I don't know. I've kind of hit a point where it's like I realized that I'm not allowing myself to be okay, or I wasn't allowing it because I felt like it wasn't the right thing to do. I felt like, I can't feel okay in this situation because the situation's not okay. But it is what it is. And I can feel crappy about it if I want. Or I can just accept that it's what's happening right now and enjoy my life as much as possible. I didn't feel like I had permission to be to be okay in the situation, to feel okay, to enjoy my life. Like I had to, it was what I wanted, and I needed to get out, and so everything is bad. And it's something that makes your life miserable when you feel that way. You know, and I mean, I do all this listening to Michael Singer and talking about relaxing and releasing and being in the moment, when while I still was doing that or was working on it, I was still judging the moment. And just judging. I wasn't in the moment. Part of me wasn't in the moment, so I guess that means that I'm not in the moment. I wasn't in the moment, but point is, I've been thinking for a while that I really, like, every time I got up and I wasn't doing the things that I told myself I was going to do, I felt bad about it, and I felt guilty and but my work is more important. You know, I got to get up, I'm tired, and you know, I have to sleep, but I have to do work, and la 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 la. But I'm realizing that I have to put myself first. And while I thought that I was doing that, I took a step back and I looked, and I wasn't. I was still, like, you know, that you still discount these things, like, okay, well, getting up early and, you know, keeping my sleep schedule, doing yoga and meditating, whatever, that's all fine and good, but I'm tired and I don't have time for it. So I'm going to skip it. And I was, you know, like, it seems like one of those things that you can just skip, you know, like, well, no one except me is affected by it, so let's go get the stuff done that other people need me to do. Because I feel very stressed out by that stuff. But one of the things that someone said to me recently was that I always abandon myself. And I agree with this. I always did abandon myself, and that was just a different way of looking at things for me. It just kind of clicked. Sorry, like, just lots of thoughts that I'm judging and then not judging. But yeah, I don't want to continue to do that to myself. That's been the problem, and I hadn't put a finger on it, and now it gives me a definitive action, a way of thinking about it. So now when I'm thinking about doing something or not doing something that's not good for me, or, you know, whatever, I'm asking myself, like, if I do this or if I don't do this, am I abandoning myself? Is that what I'm doing when I do this? And it's become a criteria. And if it is, if I'm abandoning myself, like, you know, I told myself I wasn't going to eat past 3. If I eat this chocolate, will I be abandoning myself? Yes. You know what I mean? Like, just like, so it's I don't know how to describe it. I'm feeling very out of my body right now. But it has, sorry, I've got like 300 thoughts going on, and I'm just trying to focus in on one of them. So yeah, I just feel like I have permission to be okay. You know, like, I didn't think being okay was okay. I felt like being upset was the right, this wasn't a conscious thought, but being upset all the time was like the thing, what was called for in the situation. That's pretty much what my baseline was. And you know, listening to Michael Singer and kind of thinking about things differently, that's not what's called for. And it was just another way of flagellating myself, which is something I was really good at, but I'm not doing anymore. You know, like just making myself feel awful about my situation because of the choices that I made. It brought me here, blah, 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 blah. I felt like the thing I needed to do was feel miserable, and stressed, and, you know, the only thing it's going to be, it's survival mode. You know what I mean? Like it was survival mode. And, like I'm gasping for breath, or grasping for straws, or whatever the case may be. Sorry, I felt like 50 thoughts, and I need to just focus on the one. But okay, we're gonna go with like giving myself permission to be okay. That's the one we're gonna stick with right now. Okay. So I feel like that the self-sabotaging and stuff like that just it's second nature to me, and it's what I have always, like, I believe is the right thing to do. In my subconscious, believe is the right thing to be doing, and in my conscious mind, I don't realize really that I'm doing it. I do, but I don't. Or I do realize that I do it, but I don't always realize when I'm doing it, that's technically still doing the flagellating thing, which again is abandoning myself. So I just sort of discovered another level of what the flagellation thing is in my life. And knowing that that's not the right thing to do. The actual right thing to do is to be okay, and to not flagellate myself, and to release all the negativity as much as possible. I just wasn't feeling like it was possible to not be filled with uncomfortable emotions. And now I'm working on releasing them all, and just being like, okay, this is just what life is for the moment. And there's a feeling around that of fear, in the sense of like, oh, that means I'm accepting it, and I'm, you know, like I'm gonna stay here forever, kind of thing. But accepting it doesn't mean I'm staying here forever. It just means I'm accepting and I can deal with it. That's something Michael Singer, I just listen to him like on repeat. You know, like accepting something isn't just like, okay, let it be, in the sense of I don't do anything about it. But accepting something the way it is the only way you can do something about it. I still get these pangs of anxiety that I am working on releasing, but I know that's just a thing that happens. And I think the more I'm able to be okay with where I am, like my stomach tightens up at that thought. Being okay where I am, it's like, this is not okay. I hear you, but I'm not gonna pay attention to you. That thought isn't useful, and I'm going to just, you know, allow myself to think it, because it's a thought that comes up, but also relax and release it and focus on something else. So that's really one of the good things that's happening right now, because like I said, good things do happen. It's not just sadness. It's not just grief and pain and suffering. I just come on here a lot when I feel those things. But I'm making a point of coming on to talk about when I'm feeling good, which does happen. I promise. Yeah. anyway, I guess that's really all I have to say. And I'm grateful for there's a noise over there, but I don't see anybody. I'm gonna have to get up in a second and check that out. But yeah, so I think being here is gonna teach me acceptance and surrender. Because in order to learn acceptance and surrender, there's something that's, you gotta have something that's difficult to accept and surrender to. So I'm grateful for that. And I am going to remind you all that even when you're like feeling like this situation is not okay and it's really crappy, it's a good opportunity to accept and surrender. And that's some of the most important things that we can learn. So it's something to be grateful for, and which means you can always choose to have a grateful night. I'm going to go now.